morning. First, I want to thank you for inviting me to be present and to present. And I'm coming from the private sector, so I hope it will be interesting for you. Also, I'd like to mention that from Israel, colleagues from the government, they are from Elita, Lina Kamal, and she's our regulator, so I have to be very careful with what I'm saying. And the former Elita chairman is Mr. Yoram Cohen. And from my company, product management, Amir Gil. So, actually, I'm the CEO of 3 companies. The first company is Comda, was established 28 years ago. We were starting with implementing TCP/IP for DOS, and from that time we came to data security, and from that we came to strong authentication. We did many projects in one-time password and biometric solutions, a lot of biometric solutions even today. And then we established 14 years ago as an affiliate partnering of VeriSign, a daughter company fully owned called Comsign. So today Comsign is Israeli official CA, one of the 2 CAs. There are 2 CAs in Israel. And we already issued more than 100,000 qualified certificates according to the Israeli electronic law that was started at 2001. We were qualified as certificate authority at 2003. And we do 2 main issues. It's qualified certificates and also SSL certificates to websites. And then we got to the point that we need solutions. So we have created another daughter company, which is a sister company of Comsign, which is called ComsignTrust. And this is a vendor creating solutions for digital signature. And I will explain it further. So I think that I will concentrate more in solutions. But if you want to ask, we can. I will describe projects, interesting projects in Israel involving qualified certificates. So maybe I will start with this project, which is very interesting maybe for you. So we all know that we have to go sometimes to a physician, to a doctor, to get a paper prescription. Actually, according to data in Israel, 70% of our visits at clinics are just to get a paper. And then we have to take this paper to some pharmacy. It takes us, I don't know, between half an hour to an hour. It's very annoying, and it is just for nothing to be a postman taking one paper for, if we're not sick, we'll just need the pill, okay? So what we did, and we suggested there are 4 large health care organizations in Israel, and the General Healthcare is the largest one. It's one of the largest in the world. They have about 4.5 million patients. So the doctors, thousands of doctors carrying a qualified certificate, they signing the digital prescription, and you can call the physician secretary and ask for your regular pill, or you can just type it in the portal of the healthcare organization, and then you can go directly to the pharmacy. You don't need to take the paper. If you want, you can type the paper, but as you know, all of you, it doesn't have any meaning, the paper signed by electronic signature, but it's very convenient to the pharmacy to receive a paper for him to find the pills, you know. But from law perspective, it's the PDF side. This is, And this is, I think, actually demonstrate what we are all about here. It's really revolutionary. And the second one, Maccabi Healthcare, did the same, and now it's Mohamed, starting now this year with thousands of physicians. I know that the fourth one is doing the same. So I think this demonstrates how digital signature really make a revolution in our daily life, saving time, saving whatever. Now I'll get back to the formal one. So as you will see later on, in the right side you see ComsignTrust Enterprise. This is actually an appliance carrying HSM inside, carrying also web services and all the software that we've developed. So with this appliance, it's used to organizations that send a lot of paperwork. So if it's an Israeli PTT called Bezek, or it's the Israeli Electric Corporations, or the railroads, and many, more than 100 organizations that has to send paperwork, Isracard, Lubicard, like MasterCard. They used to send a lot of paperwork. By the way, yesterday in the morning newspaper, it was written, but on behalf of the Israel Electricity, that their printer was broken, and as a result of the printer broken, there was a delay in sending paper bills to the citizens, and the payment date will be delayed. So it is really demonstrated, and even sometimes when we visit shops and someone has to give you an invoice in order for you so the printer sometimes is broken, and you have to be delayed. Personally, it happened to me lately. So I think it is very convenient that if you can send all this paperwork to the citizens and actually to the business companies that have to use it for VAT. So in Israel, the regulation said that the electronic signature should be signed, not like in other countries. There's 11 countries in the European Union that the invoice should be signed. In other countries, the electronic signature doesn't have to be signed. So it has to be signed by regulated by the tax authorities in these countries in order to deduct the VAT payment. So this product is used in these organizations, large organizations, to send like DHL, etc., to send their paperwork. There's this question here: will invoice that is signed in Israel, for example, will be recognized by its digital signature in Tunisia or in Spain or in other countries? Will it be accepted? This is a question for the committee. So I think that today, this is, the issue that we are dealing here, digital signature, is both technology and legal. So it's not like only technology issue, that you issue a brilliant technology and every country anywhere want to adopt it. Because it involves local laws, even if you have brilliant technology, some countries cannot adopt it because the local law maybe does not permit or. So I think that this is an important event that we all have to think how to make it easy, because life is continual and people want to use mobile, people want to use tablets, etc. So we cannot hold life. And you see what happened in the west side of the ocean in the USA, that they accept even graphic signatures and everything because they don't want to hold life. With European, we more like the PKI, but we have to think how maybe to and here I will show you that something that we've created now is people arrive to rent a car. Okay, so people arrive to if you go to rent a car, you have to sign some paperwork with your identity card, etc. So this company called Zeev Shetach in Israel, so they are the largest one. So they wanted something that the person will arrive and he will sign on a tablet with his graphical signature, and then the official one will sign with his qualified signature, and then package the PDF that was signed by the customer, and then we'll create it a qualified document for court. So, and this step, it's including camera, including everything, so you wrap up everything with this signature. So this is an example of something that also involved the graphical signature of the customer, which is worth nothing in court or close to nothing. Okay? But you know, the local laws in Israel now involve that you have to force allowing the customer to read the paper. So you cannot, in the past, you're just signing him on a pad, but actually his signature on a pad could be taken and put in whenever the supplier wanted, so it's really nothing in court. But if it's signed after all, by a qualified signature by his supplier, then it's worth something. It's very relevant. So I think this is something that you may be interested. So we are now suggesting this to more rental companies like this is another interesting solution that we have for many years. There's one of the government, large government department that allow tenders to be submitted with qualified signature. So we hope that all the government offices will adopt it, but today this ministry forced that every supplier will submit tenders with digital signature, not allowing paperwork anymore. Okay, it is mandatory today. We also have advocates. It's court net or net mishpat. So actually, advocates today, you know, they have to carry a lot of paperwork to courts, and it has to be submitted until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it is difficult sometimes to send all this paper. It's like issuing a tender, you know. You have to do it on Monday and 8 o'clock in the morning. If you gave the tender a minute after, then you are cancelled. So it's the same with the court. You have to give the paperwork until a certain hour to the court secretary, and today you can do it until 8 o'clock in the evening with digital signature, and thousands of advocates use our card that we issue to them. So now there is a new law accepted these days that also business starting from 2 million shekel, which is around 400,000 euro, have to submit, to sign every month for VAT purposes the documents that they issued for VAT. So this is a certain form of VAT that had to be signed by the business community, but from certain amount of business. It was from, I think, 4 million shekels. So starting 1st of January 14, it's from 2 million shekels, and next year it will be for 1.5 million shekels. So this is this is the largest project because it involves all the business community. It's more than the doctors, more than the lawyers. But you know, some of the doctors were telling me something like this. He said, you know, the VAT users, the business community, using the digital signature once per month. Okay, the lawyers using it maybe once a day or several times a day, but we are as doctors, we're using it every minute. So every 5 minutes, so we are using think about it, it has to work. So we also have the same solution. We have many other projects. I cannot describe them all, but it's really emerging. The combination of products for digital signature and the digital, and we are now are in good relations in CAs in France, in Greece, in other countries. We want to work with companies in the digital signature, with CAs in local countries, because we believe we can contribute and promote, but we need companies that are local and have local presence, and they know how to do this, what we did in Israel, to do in the local countries. We also have some interesting projects with mobile, iPads, etc. Just imagine a company entering the room. Sometimes maybe to build a bridge or a road, it may take them 1 year or several months to make the decisions, because people after the meeting, they refuse to sign the paper, okay? They have second thought or third thought, they don't sign it, so it may take a year. Now they enter in the room with the iPad, they don't go out. If they made a decision to make a bridge or something, they have to sign it with the iPad, okay? So it shortened the time of decision making. We have the same solution in the cloud. We also suggest SDK for doing the signature form within the applications like SAP and other applications. So this is it. I can speak more, but I think this is just general description. And really, what we care is the collaboration with local companies in every country. And final remark, I think that we should not fail. I mean, things like happened to years with DigiNotar, and so in order not to fail, because this is very sensitive on this issue, we must have good audit, external and internal, and all these issues are very delicate, and both with the laws and directives, but in the implementation of them in the field. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shetach. Any questions? Any comment? No. So I would like to answer the question whether an invoice issued in Israel would be valid in the European Union. The answer is probably yes, but you cannot be sure. Because you have the EU directive, which is covering invoicing, that says that an invoice must ensure integrity and authenticity. So if it does, then it's valid, but it's a judge at the end of the day that will decide. Indeed, if there will be a mutual recognition agreement between your country and the European Union, then you will know that this integrity and authenticity requirement can be matched by an advanced signature. That's what it will do. So if advanced signature in Israel or the equivalent of advanced signature in Israel will recognize as such the European Union, then you have a full legal certainty, and it will be much more legal. So hopefully one day it will be like that. For Tunisia, I cannot answer. If somebody wants to answer the question,
Thank you.
it would be interesting.
Regarding the smart token, I want to know if eTrust produce the smart token or only the application on smart token.
Good question, thank you. We are not producing the smart card. We use PKCS 11, and we use different ones. For example, we use also discount key. So the discount key, like the token is only with smart card, but discount key can include the application and the smart card. So whenever it has, of course, to be FIPS level 3, etc., it has to stand with the regulations. But it includes the software, so you can go to a hotel and just use this discount key, stick to the USB, and then the software of the signing goes, and you can sign with your certificate. So it's both the software and the certificate, but we don't produce the We have cooperation with the Gemalto, with SafeNet, with all these companies, Athena, and all these companies that produce these devices, but we don't produce hardware.
And it's the FIPS certified?
Yes, the FIPS is fine. FIPS is fine. And I didn't mention it, but in this project is a very good question. The authenticity or the authentication, the strong authentication is quite important, as you can imagine. But I didn't mention it because I know you all.
Can I ask about the price?
Excuse me?
Can I ask about the price?
Price of what? Of certificate?
No. Not smart token.
The discount key? It depends, of course, of the quantities, but generally speaking, it's something around 60 euro, something like this. Very general, don't catch me. We have a price list with quantities, which we can send to you, and of course, discounts for partners, etc. So you can use, and also it's the centric enterprise. It's called Signer One, by the way. Signer One. It can send millions of documents. It's the same concept, hardware and software. Okay.
Sorry, may I? We are a smart token provider, and also we can be cheaper.
Okay. Great.
I would like to comment on another aspect, which is the role or the importance of the government in promoting such projects, because most of the projects that Zeev was talking about are projects that were promoted by government offices. So the role of the government in promoting PKI or digital signature project is highly important. Basically, it's an infrastructure. So, for an example, I was the Israeli regulator up to half a year ago. We were involved in all those projects from the back office, laying down the legal framework and also the technological framework to allow such projects. So if we're talking about e-prescription, there has to be a change in the Israeli legislation to allow such a mechanism. So there is a process within the Ministry of Health that is paving the way for this. If it's a project of e-invoicing or a requirement in the Israeli law for electronic signature on invoices as part of the report or the VAT, this is a process that it is important that the regulator will be involved at. And once the legal framework is okay, then the private sector can use those tools and do projects. It is important, on the other hand, that the private sector will come up to government offices with ideas, because generally the officials are not well into the technology and do not understand what are the potentials. So when you come up with ideas like this, whether you come up to the Ministry of Health and say, well, you can use the signature on prescription, then it will be promoted within the legal system. But I think it's important to understand that in that sense, the role of people who are sitting here, some of us are from government offices, is to push forward those projects. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, I confirm that it's all in Israel. It started discussion. It started, I think, 14 or 13 years ago. Discussions between the Ministry of Justice with private sector, and it's you need to tango, as you say. So we need the government to initiate, and we need the government to audit, and the private sector always thinking of doing initiatives, and so it's both.
Thank you very much. No further question.